Hello. Hi, my name is Carrie. I'm the officially unofficial geek, and this is an author TikTok video. I wanted to go ahead and give you a little taste of who I am as a writer. And I figured one of the best ways to do that is I wrote a poem recently, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, I guess, kind of small form perform it for you. So I hope you like this. I wrote this actually. I wanted to talk about a little bit how you can find, before doing this, before performing the poem, I want to talk a little bit about how you can find inspiration anywhere. So you don't necessarily have to write from your own experiences. You can find inspiration in things other people say, do. The news headlines. You can find inspiration wherever. You don't necessarily have to lead what you consider an exciting life to write anything. I, I, for instance, I work a day job, 9 to 5, every Monday through Friday, and I write whenever I have time, and I have been trying to make a regular habit of writing, and that's something I can tell you about and I can comment on is the need and the working progress of making time to write. Sometimes you do get inspiration from just anywhere. And this is what I'm about to read to you is proof of that. I was watching, I watch a lot of YouTube, and not just, pop culture and comic book YouTube, which I watch a lot of. I also watch various other kinds of entertainment on YouTube. I watch life vloggers. I also watch pretty regularly. I watch a woman, her name is Bailey Sarian, and she does a show, Murder Mystery Makeup, and she also does a podcast and a show called Dark History, where she talks about different aspects of history and it being kind of messed up. And I was watching the other day, Dark History, and the Dark History was talking about the history of beauty is pain. In particular, she talked about the women from, she talked about corsets on women, and she talked about hair removal, and she talked about women that, like in China, like a process that seems really barbaric, but come to think of it and come to find out, I'm gonna open this soda while I'm talking. Come to find out, it's something that was going on, and I didn't know this. I thought this was just like an ancient barbaric custom, but like Bailey was saying, they're talking about how she found information in her research, her channel's research, that it's been going on, like the last company, like, to make the iron or the golden and silver lotus shoes. Okay, so I said shoes. Some people right away knew what I was talking about, probably when I said Chinese tradition of beauty. Thought I might have been talking about the lotuses. So women in China would have their feet literally broken to make them smaller. So you would have these misshapen and horrible looking thing that these women had to endure. I mean, these were just a few examples of what women had to endure for beauty. And there's so many more, and really it probably would have taken a long time to get through all of them. maybe she'll revisit it for another, this is, Beauty is Pain Part 2. I think though that even if she does it, she hammered the point home in this one episode. Obviously, I am not from the 18th or 19th century. I'm not from China, but I have an idea that even today, women endure things that are not fun for beauty. Waxing, for one, guys, waxing sucks. Okay, if you're seeing this and you're a man, you're like, man, all my girls got to be waxed. And it sucks. It's painful. And if you want to require or prefer your women be waxed, I recommend going through it yourself. Before that, go through it yourself, and then decide if you care enough about women to not require that out of a mate. It's painful. But anyways, so I wrote a poem inspired by the in particular the circumstances surrounding women wearing corsets back in the day, and women having to misshapen their feet to be looked at as desirable. And so, yeah, this just goes to show. I was sitting there watching Dark History on Bailey Sarian's channel, and I was inspired. You can find inspiration anywhere. I have worn corsets, but never to the point where they're cutting off my airflow. The women that wear corsets today sometimes wear them as extreme as they did back then, but like a lot of times and a lot of things that I've seen, women aren't wearing them as extremely as they did back then. But I mean, yeah. And if you haven't seen it, I totally recommend watching Bailey Sarian's channel, Dark History in particular. Those episodes, everything is great on there. Everything is entertaining and fun to watch. But in particular, Dark History, especially when she goes on these things, where she's talking about, in particular, women's history and that kind of thing. And she talks about the lotuses and with their feet manipulation in China. She talks about all that stuff all over. It's not just, the crappy stuff that happens here in the United States. She runs the gambit. Anyways, this is, I'm going to be reading. I don't have it memorized. I just wrote this 3 days ago. But this is called Petals. It was written on January 13th, 2024. And that's about it. Let's get into it, okay? All right. You just kind of maneuver the camera so that you can see me and I can still read. All right. The lacing gripping inch by inch of my autonomy as I scrape my nails, holding onto the wall, clawing to breathe in as I feel nothing in my heart but pain everywhere else, getting those inches off to fit my dress, the chemistry and biology and reason fitting like a glove. Who knows where I can put air anymore, but you'll call me pretty. You'll call me desirable. You'll find me desirable. You'll let me rest my blue body against yours and call me your wife. It gives new meaning to dying in your arms. You'll break my feet, realign my toes to make me a flower, a lover you'll enjoy to hold because she's dainty and delicate like a fragrant flower. She'll be golden or silver and soft like a pillow, not rigid and hard iron, carrying a lotus in a bloody hand. Small steps and paces keep her walking behind you, don't they? You like breaking the flowers like a twig. Nobody like you wants a blooming flower, so sculpt and suck, remove her petals, what the fuck? Smooth her out to cast a shadow of an hourglass on the wall, hills and valleys to drive so you know your car can handle the terrain because God knows you don't have what it takes to reach the summit of Everest on her body the way it is. Pull the petals from the flower or let her be stone. Staring down at you like a reverse Medusa, fearful of the icy stare, hands tied and bloody with a flower of metal in her hands, but at least she'll have all of her petals. Thank you. That's